Okay, Nation, what is going on? I want to have a quick video here, part 3 of our video series continuation of what I think is important to becoming a trader, to becoming a trading personnel. Anyways, today I really wanted to talk about strategy. And we do have a YouTube video of planning your trade, which fundamentally that's kind of what this video is going to be about. But I feel like maybe it's kind of a good refresher because I think you can really employ some really basic approaches to when you trade to really make the happy decision. If you watch my other videos, you might hear me talk about when you're trading, it's about making the happy decision, and fundamentally, that is what this is. It's always about making the happy decision. And how you come to that happy decision is by setting yourself a set of rules, because most people who don't have rules will eventually wallow in their emotions. Funny enough. So, I think a very basic strategy is obviously never turn a winning trade into a losing trade, and that sounds easier than said than done. Just make a positive on a trade, right? It seems easy enough, right? But what I really mean by that is like, yeah, you're gonna get trades where you open and you might. On your first trade, you might get stop loss. On your second trade, you might get stop loss. And on your third trade, you might get stop loss before you find that trade. At least that's my rule I have. I usually have 3 chances to find a trade. If I can't find a trade within 3 trades, based on my ability to hit trades, I probably shouldn't do maximum 1 more if I'm really feeling it. And in reality, I probably shouldn't. So I have a rule of 3 or 4 stop losses. But when it comes to making a trade, let's say you already are in a winning trade, right? Let's say you longed 2553 chain link over here. And you might notice a little resistance up here, that 2580 is a key area, the 200 EMA is not too far away, maybe the stochastics are overbought, whatever it may be, Ichi clouds are hitting, whatever. A lot of people have this thing stop and profit. It's kind of in my opinion, retarded. Because let's say you enter a trade 2553 and you're like, you know what? If it hits 2560, I'll take my profit for the trade and I'll open the next trade. But it's just like sometimes you really got to respect that maybe you opened a really decent trade and you really shouldn't, put down the fact that you just opened a really good trade. Now, obviously, never turn a winning trade into a losing trade. Obviously, we know that Chainlink, if you, and this is why I say like find a coin that you can trade and just master that coin, because you'll notice, hey, Chainlink on average moves up or down 20, 30 cents, right? How many times have you opened up a position? The position goes green P&L, and you're like, oh wow, I got it, I knew I was right, and 10 minutes later, you're back to where you started, right? Riding the elevator. Right? So whenever I hear people say, "Oh, I'm just gonna let it ride until stop and profit," it's above my entry, which is true. You were gonna be making profit, but there is a world where your entry was actually really goated, and it's gonna do what it's done here for the last little while, go back down here, and bounce the fuck back up, which would be a pretty bad situation for you, because then you're going to start FOMOing into positions because like, oh, I had it, I knew I should have not closed it, blah, blah. Very simply, this is already a 30-cent move. Just take some profit, 25%. And if in your mind you're like, well, if I take 25%, then my position's not big enough. It never was big enough to begin with. If 25% is going to affect you mentally because it's like, oh my god, I need to have 100 Chainlink long or whatever, and now I'm only going to have 75 Chainlink long, you're never going to win this game. Just pack it up, forget about it. Just invest and call it a day, okay? But I do think if you take 25% profit here, and it does go back down here, and it does bounce back up, you won't get into that situation where it starts bouncing back up and you enter here, and the next thing you know, it rejects here, and then it goes back to your entry point, and then you get, then you just lose even more money, right? That 25% there gets negated and all that jazz, right? Also, when you close a trade, you can also, you have really three options: close 25, 50, or 75. I don't think if you start closing above 75, you might as well close the whole trade, in my opinion. 25% of a trade is still good enough to kind of keep it going and keeping yourself kind of mentally in check that it's not too bad. I made some money, blah, blah, blah. Because if you close 80% of your position or 90% of your position, it's pretty much fucking closed, right? 25, you can still, like, if you have 100 Ethereum long, you still have 25 Ethereum to play with. Not 10, not 15, 25, decent, right? Just, I know 100 Ethereum position is a large position, but, just kind of putting easy numbers out there, right? So, and I've said this many times on stream, but if you take 75%, you can essentially see that position as closed, because fundamentally, in my opinion, you've taken full profit. And with that 25%, right, let's say you opened here and let's say it went to the moon or whatever, and you close 75%, if it goes back down here and it, like, the stochastic gets, oversold, you can then think about maybe not adding on full size of your original position, but you can add on to your position. That way your average now moves up to here, your entry is here, and then it bounces up, right? Because that would actually be pretty good for a quick, like, add-on. And that's the only time I really want to add on to my positions is when I've already taken profit and I've already been like, okay, you know what? This is actually a pretty good area to add on because it's kind of let's say it's bottomed out and the stochastics are bottomed out and my entry is still good, but I took up maybe too much of my profit or too much TP, whatever it was, 50, 75%, and I can just add on a little bit more there because that TP that I took up here, whatever, 25, 50, 75, I can use that to my advantage to raise my average a little bit higher, but it won't be as if I entered a position at 25.64 and my position will no longer be 25.53, but maybe my position will be 25.58. So that gives you already a little bit breathing room. You know what? You can be like, you know what? Stop loss at entry after you move up your average. And if it keeps going up, great. And if you're wrong and it kind of spikes back down, you can close your trade and rethink about it, because if it's somewhere in this region again where it bottoms out, you still have another chance to open it, right? So a lot of people don't really think about their trades beforehand. And I think it's kind of really, really, really important to do that. Because if you at least go in with an idea, it doesn't have to be a full-blown idea. You write it down to ideally you do. But as long as you go in with some semblance of an idea, some semblance of an attack plan, you won't fall for FOMO. That's the whole purpose of rules and a plan. You don't fall for FOMO. And FOMO doesn't mean going up or going down. It just means you don't fucking emotionally fuck yourself into a trade, because the emotions will fuck you. And you gotta do everything you possibly can to not fuck with your emotions. And the only way you're gonna do that is you set a bunch of rules. If you set the rules, you can always adjust the rules if you're wrong. No one's ever gonna be perfect. No one's ever gonna start perfect. But at least you can adjust it in a way that will be beneficial to you. Correct? Okay. So that's really the basis of this video. Really think about where you want to take profit. And when you do take profit, you have to be okay whether it's 25, 50, 75. Personally, in my opinion, if you close a position 75%, you close it up here, and then suddenly it goes back to 25.53, you really don't lose that much money. Yeah, you're going to lose money. Yeah, of course. But it won't be that much to a point where it's like, oh man, I wish I kept it open, blah, 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 all that jazz, right? Right? If you closed it, if you were like, well, every time we've rejected here for a chain link, I'm just going to close it all. You'd rather have 25% open than nothing open. All right? I guarantee it. Especially if shit starts going parabolic like Ethereum the other day, right? If you closed, you opened up a long on 4,100 and you closed, you closed it at 4,500, well, you would have fucking prayed and wished you kept something open, right? And I feel like keeping a perpetual trade open is actually the right idea, unless it's like, you know, completely whatever you want to just full. You know, it's never wrong to close a trade, but I'm just saying, just think about it before you do. And the final thing that I kind of want to talk about here is as well, just actually, I think that's it. I think that's a good quick 10-minute YouTube video. I'm trying to, you know, I've been streaming a fuck ton lately. Make sure you follow us on kick.com/barenakedcrypto. By chance you're somehow just watching this on YouTube and you've never seen me before, we live stream on Kick. Our Discord is free. Come join us. Come hang out. Blah blah blah. All that jazz. So just really plan out your trade. It's really simple. 25, 50, 75. What are you going to do with it? And then you can have stops in profit, or you know, stop at entry, and so forth, right? So that's it for me, Naked Nation. Quick little video. Hope this helps. We'll continue the videos, and we'll be choosing a winner for $100 to your BitUnix account. Again, on this video, all the videos that I'm going to be making, there's going to be at least one $100 giveaway. So put a comment in the comment section, and one of you will be chosen to be a victor of $100. But you got to have a BitUnix account, which is free to sign up for. You don't have to even use it. Up to you. But that's about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, Naked Nation, I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Brush your hair. Scrub your scalp. I'm out.